Welcome to Dinar Shift. Today's comprehensive report is one of the most essential broadcasts we have ever delivered specifically for every person holding the Iraqi dinar. Over the next hour, we are going to meticulously peel back the layers on the recent highly volatile discussions surrounding the Iraqi 50,000 dinar notes, the nation's ongoing deep-seated financial reforms, the verifiable reality behind any exchange value adjustments, and the most critical economic facts that every informed holder must grasp before falling prey to misleading claims or dramatic online narratives. We ask you to stay tuned until the very end of this broadcast, as we will methodically break down the most important reality checks, analyze the most recent official actions emanating directly from Iraq's central financial institutions, and outline the true potential scenario that is realistically unfolding for dinar holders in 2025. This is a commitment to clarity. No hype, no overly complex financial jargon, just a straight, verifiable presentation of the facts. A significant segment of the dinar community is currently experiencing deep confusion, and this in-depth analysis is specifically engineered to eliminate that uncertainty once and for all. If you possess any Iraqi currency, particularly the 50,000 dinar notes, the information we are about to share is profoundly relevant to your holdings. We are going to begin immediately with the complete step-by-step story so that you are equipped with the knowledge to recognize and disregard misleading claims, and to understand the opportunity in the most realistic and grounded way possible. One of the most intensely debated topics rippling through the dinar community recently is the widely circulated, yet often misrepresented, belief that the 50,000 dinar notes have been formally approved for a massive and immediate new exchange value adjustment. This narrative has been amplified across various online platforms, often accompanied by sensationalized and dramatic headlines promising a huge, life-altering financial event. However, before any individual reacts to this excitement, the absolutely essential first step that must be taken is to create an immediate and firm separation between unverified, community-driven rumor and formally verified, established national policy. The 50,000 dinar note itself is undeniably a legitimate, active, and high-value denomination that is currently integral to Iraq's circulating currency structure. It was initially introduced to efficiently facilitate large-scale cash-based transactions within Iraq's large and rapidly emerging domestic economy. Today, a significant number of dinar holders maintain the strong belief that this specific note could, one day, become significantly more valuable, should Iraq's national currency achieve a substantial strengthening on the global stage. Crucially, however, no official authoritative announcement has been made by the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, or any associated government body confirming a sudden, sweeping major revaluation or an immediate, dramatic exchange rate shift. The only reliable and responsible way to accurately gauge its future potential value is by critically examining and following Iraq's verifiable long-term economic objectives, its ongoing financial reform implementations, the stable outlook for its vital oil revenues, and the structural anti-corruption systems that are painstakingly being built step by step. In recent times, the Central Bank of Iraq has been diligently pursuing several critical financial modernization initiatives, signaling a clear and determined movement toward a more resilient and globally integrated economic system. These verifiable steps include a significant push to increase the adoption of digital banking services, a concerted effort to expand and strengthen Iraq's connections with major international financial networks, and the implementation of strategic monetary measures designed to stabilize domestic inflation. These fundamental changes are vital and must be fully understood by dinar holders because they collectively demonstrate a serious long-term commitment toward forging a stronger, more transparent, and ultimately more globally trusted national currency. Furthermore, Iraq has been working in exceptionally close coordination with leading global financial institutions and regulatory bodies to systematically improve its overall financial transparency and security frameworks. When a sovereign nation consistently and demonstrably enhances its economic trustworthiness and adheres to international standards, its national currency inherently improves its long-term prospects for gaining tangible strength and recognition on the world stage. This process, however, is a methodical, gradual evolution. It is not an event that materializes suddenly overnight. It is achieved solely through slow, verified, and sustained institutional and economic improvements. As we look ahead into 2025, Iraq is unequivocally increasing its efforts to modernize and fortify its entire financial structure, signaling a clear intent for global financial integration. Therefore, while the ongoing speculation among hopeful investors undeniably generates a great deal of community excitement and engagement, The substantive and verifiable news is that Iraq is diligently and responsibly constructing the necessary, durable economic foundation that is an absolute prerequisite for any potential significant appreciation in its currency's value over an extended period. This foundation building is the real, actionable story. This leads many dinar holders to the frequently asked question, is it realistic to believe that the 50,000 dinar note could eventually appreciate to a value equivalent to thousands of US dollars? This is an incredibly powerful question that demands a direct, realistic, and completely unbiased answer, free from any exaggeration. The primary operational purpose behind the issuance of large denomination notes like the 50,000 dinar bill is fundamentally rooted in ensuring transactional stability and simplifying large cash exchanges within the domestic economy, not serving as a precursor for sudden, massive, overnight wealth to creation events. Iraq was compelled to introduce these larger denominations decades ago primarily because it was grappling with the debilitating effects of high, multi-decade inflation, and the banking system required a simplified means for processing substantial transactions in what remains a heavily cash-dependent society. For a major, impactful currency revaluation to genuinely occur, a series of profound and sustained economic shifts must first take place. Specifically, Iraq would need to achieve a dramatic and sustainable reduction in its domestic inflation rate, concurrently generate a substantial and verified increase in its non-oil economic output, successfully expand and invigorate its private sector activity far beyond its reliance on hydrocarbon revenues, and consistently maintain a highly responsible and disciplined monetary policy across its central bank operations. These objectives are not short-term aspirations. They represent ambitious, long-term strategic goals toward which Iraq is demonstrably and currently committing substantial institutional resources and political capital. Thus, it is factually correct to assert that there exists a clear, verified pathway where the dinar could naturally and gradually increase in global strength and purchasing power. However, it must be emphatically understood that any such strengthening must be organically and comprehensively supported by verifiable, tangible, and sustained economic growth indicators, not fueled by highly speculative, unsubstantiated rumors of secret or suddenly approved financial adjustments. Understanding this core distinction is paramount for a safe and informed strategy. The pursuit of growth is the reality. The hope for an overnight windfall is the speculation. Let us now address the fundamental question of why these persistent and often highly exaggerated rumors continue to proliferate and spread so rapidly across the online investment landscape. When individuals are driven by powerful emotional factors, particularly deep-seated financial hope and aspiration, certain community leaders or influential online voices may, deliberately or unintentionally, either significantly exaggerate or fundamentally misinterpret official or technical information. Statements aggressively asserting that a massive RV has been officially confirmed or that the 50K notes are immediately activated for wealth exchange travel with incredible speed because they inherently contain a high degree of dramatic and captivating emotional excitement. However, a responsible fact check reveals that these claims consistently fail to align with the measured, technical, and often cautious communications released by Iraq's official central banking authorities. The verifiable truth is that Iraq maintains a clear, long-term ambition for its currency to achieve a more powerful, global standing and purchasing capacity someday. Yet their officially stated method for achieving this goal involves a strategic combination of gradual, earned appreciation, potentially utilizing carefully timed redenomination strategies, and most importantly, achieving fundamental and robust economic reforms across all sectors. It is entirely rational and, indeed, strategically intelligent for dinar holders to maintain a hopeful and optimistic outlook regarding their investment's long-term potential. Simultaneously, however, it is absolutely essential to remain rigorously grounded in the verifiable realm of real official policy and economic data, rather than permitting investment decisions to be swayed by unverified rumors that can provoke damaging emotional swings and lead to hasty, high-risk financial choices. Therefore, let us now definitively shift our focus to the concrete facts that can be officially verified and documented today. Iraq's central banking apparatus has been tirelessly engaged in a multifaceted and strategic effort to strengthen the dinar's global legitimacy and recognition. This includes aggressively cracking down on illicit black market currency trading operations, making substantial progress in improving the national banking system's compliance with stringent international financial regulations, and systematically adjusting exchange policies to foster a more stable, predictable, and market-driven rate against key global currencies, particularly the US dollar. These proactive, disciplined actions clearly demonstrate a high level of economic responsibility and institutional maturity, both of which are critical indicators. The reason this level of economic maturity and responsibility is so crucial is that global currency markets and major international financial institutions exclusively assign sustainable long-term value and trust to national currencies that demonstrably exhibit long-term security, policy consistency, and verifiable growth potential. Beyond these internal financial reforms, significant external factors are also critically important and cannot be overlooked. The continued improvement and expansion of Iraq's oil export capabilities, the successful development and signing of new international trade partnerships with key global economies, and the strategic strengthening and growth of non-oil sectors such as tourism and technology are all key factors that, over time, can cumulatively and positively influence the dinar's future global value. These are the real, measurable drivers of currency strength, not arbitrary announcements. Every informed holder should prioritize tracking these genuine economic indicators over the daily cycle of social media speculation. This focus on fundamentals provides the clearest view of the genuine path forward. Another highly important, frequently discussed technical point among financial experts and economists involves the possibility that Iraq may one day choose to systematically remove 3 zeros from its currency's face value, a procedural measure universally known as redenomination. This specific strategy is far from unique. It has been successfully employed by numerous countries worldwide over history as a technical means to efficiently combat the legacy effects of hyperinflation and to dramatically simplify a cumbersome currency structure, making domestic transactions easier. Should Iraq ultimately choose to pursue this particular path, it is absolutely vital to understand that the primary, core goal of the redenomination would be normalization and simplification of the currency structure, not to function as an instantaneous or guaranteed mechanism for profit generation for foreign currency holders. This is precisely why it is incumbent upon all dinar holders to fully grasp the precise and fundamental technical distinction between redenomination and revaluation. A redenomination fundamentally adjusts the currency's mathematical structure and its physical design, whereas a revaluation is the genuine economic event that substantially increases the currency's actual purchasing power in global markets. It is theoretically possible for Iraq to pursue both a redenomination and a significant revaluation over a phased period spanning many years. However, it must be stressed with absolute clarity that neither of these processes, whether undertaken independently or sequentially, represents a sudden overnight wealth to creation event. They are components of a long-term, complex, and systematic economic overhaul. This brings us to a crucial discussion point regarding investor safety and the need for rigorous self-protection. A large proportion of the people who currently hold the Iraqi dinar initially made their purchase decision because an individual or a company promised them unrealistic, life-changing financial returns in the near term. Regrettably, some individuals and opaque organizations have historically marketed this holding as an investment using claims that are wildly unrealistic, unsubstantiated, and entirely speculative. Reputable and ethical financial professionals consistently and strongly advise that dinar holdings must be responsibly treated exactly like any other highly speculative investment vehicle, recognizing that they carry inherent high risk, have a profoundly uncertain and likely long-term timing horizon, and offer absolutely no guarantee of future profit or return. The only genuinely smart protective move is to remain comprehensively informed, to actively avoid panic-driven actions, and to establish rigorous defenses against any party making unrealistic, highly promotional financial promises. You deserve verifiable truth and economic data, not sensationalized hype. Now, let us shift to what can be justifiably considered the genuinely exciting and verifiable part of this economic update, the real, demonstrable potential that exists within Iraq's national economy. The country holds one of the world's most significant and largest proven oil reserves, a massive and strategic asset that guarantees major, long-term revenue streams and opportunities for national investment. Beyond its hydrocarbon wealth, Iraq is actively and structurally improving its entire national banking and financial system, consistently strengthening strategic trade connections with all neighboring nations and international partners, and undertaking essential modernization of its critical national infrastructure. If these positive, foundational trends are consistently maintained and responsibly managed, the Iraqi dinar possesses the inherent potential to gradually and organically gain substantial, verifiable value in global financial markets over the coming years. The most essential takeaway word here is gradually. Economic growth that is genuinely earned and deeply supported by real structural progress is, without any question, infinitely more sustainable, reliable, and durable than any sudden, massive jump that is based purely on unsubstantiated rumors or fleeting speculation. Focusing specifically again on the 50,000 dinar notes, it is a certainty that these high-denomination notes will remain an integral and active component of the nation's currency circulation for the foreseeable future, as they are essential for efficiently supporting Iraq's numerous large-scale transactions in its cash-heavy domestic economy. Some investors have expressed genuine concern or fear that these large notes might potentially become devalued or even worthless if and when smaller denominations begin to be used more widely, or if a redenomination occurs. However, when examining historical precedents from other countries that have undergone currency strengthening, it is overwhelmingly evident that high denominations are consistently handled responsibly. They are typically swapped, exchanged, or systematically converted through a carefully organized and government-sanctioned process. Iraq would not, under any rational scenario, abandon the holders of its national currency. Any future, necessary financial reforms would almost certainly involve very clear official instructions, be implemented with ample time for exchange, and be handled securely through established banking channels with full verification and transparency. Therefore, if you currently hold 50,000 dinar notes, the most prudent and strategically sound action today is simply to ensure their secure storage and to meticulously track only the official announcements issued by the Central Bank of Iraq. One of the most frequent and costly errors committed by dinar holders is the over-reliance on channels that propagate information based almost entirely on rumor, speculation, and unverified insider claims. Verified, fact-based news is one of the most powerful protective tools an investor can possess because it acts as a critical shield, protecting people from making emotionally charged and financially damaging decisions. The verifiable, underlying truth is that Iraq is making steady incremental progress, one structural step at a time. Instead of passively hoping for some miraculous metaphorical magic button to be pressed for an overnight change, the community should actively acknowledge and celebrate the genuine, tangible improvements that are responsibly moving the country's entire economic structure forward. A stable, nationally trusted currency that is profoundly backed by strong, transparent economic fundamentals is fundamentally worth exponentially more in the long run than any rapid, volatile change that lacks structural support and is likely to collapse shortly thereafter. True, enduring economic value organically grows in direct correlation with real, measurable national strength. And it is evident that Iraq is demonstrating a persistent commitment to building that core strength every single day. Another highly important and measurable development is Iraq's calculated strategic effort to gradually reduce the national economy's over-reliance on the US dollar for domestic transactional purposes. The Central Bank of Iraq has been consistently promoting and incentivizing an increased volume of domestic transactions to be conducted directly and exclusively in the Iraqi dinar, a policy shift that serves to strengthen national economic sovereignty and stability. When an increasing number of both domestic users and international trade partners utilize the dinar for commerce, the measurable demand for the currency naturally increases, and over a sustained period, this rising organic demand has a predictably positive influence on the currency's global valuation. These specific, technical policy shifts are not arbitrary. They are meticulously designed to systematically build deep, long-term confidence in the national currency, both at home and abroad. They are markers of genuine, planned financial change. Simultaneously, the role of strategic global partnerships cannot be overstated in this ongoing process of financial maturation and integration. Iraq has been successfully strengthening its trade relationships and fostering deeper economic cooperation with a wide array of major, strategically significant trade partners, encompassing nations across the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. An increased volume and complexity of international trade naturally translates directly into a higher degree of international currency recognition and acceptability. When the national currency becomes demonstrably easier to utilize in cross-border trade and financial settlements, its global reputation for stability and its inherent standing in global finance significantly improves. This is precisely why a dedicated team of economic diplomats and financial technicians are operating, quietly but steadily behind the scenes, working to strategically secure the dinar's long-term and respected presence within the global financial architecture. Their work is a quiet but powerful testament to the long-term intent of the Iraqi government. The true appreciation of the dinar will be a reflection of these successes. We must also directly address the perpetual, community-driven query regarding the precise timing. When precisely will the dinar experience a rise in its value? The most responsible and truthful answer is that no reliable, ethical expert in the world can definitively assign a specific date, time, or prediction. Currency valuation changes are a direct, quantifiable outcome based solely on verifiable national economic performance, the consistency of financial reform implementation, and geopolitical stability, not on speculative internet predictions or unverified rumors. What can be stated with absolute factual certainty is that Iraq is consistently improving its foundational, economic, and financial systems. And these verifiable, measurable improvements are an absolute, non-negotiable prerequisite for any meaningful future currency appreciation. The most strategically astute investors consistently maintain their focus on measurable progress and institutional maturity, not on the elusive pursuit of speculative predictions. The evidence today confirms that genuine progress, however gradual, is actively and continually unfolding on the ground. Another highly significant and transformative area of ongoing development is the concerted expansion of Iraq's digital banking infrastructure and services. A growing segment of the Iraqi population is now actively opening formal bank accounts, increasingly utilizing cards and electronic payment systems, and gradually reducing the traditional high dependency on physical cash transactions. A modern, robust digital financial system offers profound benefits. It significantly aids in the fight against corruption, substantially improves financial documentation and record-keeping for the government, and makes the nation a far more attractive and credible partner for international banking institutions and investors. This comprehensive financial transformation is a fundamental contributor to Iraq's future financial credibility, and financial credibility directly and powerfully influences a currency's global strength and perceived value. Fundamentally, when a nation is perceived as easier to trust and deal with financially, its national currency automatically earns a higher degree of trust and value in the eyes of the global market. Furthermore, sustained national economic stability is deeply and inextricably linked to foundational national security. Iraq has made remarkable and significant strides in securing its vital oil production fields and infrastructure, successfully rebuilding critical national infrastructure destroyed in past conflicts, and responsibly supporting the foundational pillars of civilian economic life across the country. Security and stability are the absolute bedrock and non-negotiable foundations upon which any strong, globally recognized currency must be built. International investors and financial institutions rigorously monitor these specific security developments because they provide a clear, measurable indication of whether long-term prosperity and safe investment are realistically attainable. The current data indicates that the verifiable signs of improved stability are significantly stronger now than they have been in many years, offering a compelling case for measured optimism. This stability narrative is a key factor in future valuation, turning our attention to practical strategy for current Dinar holders, especially those possessing the 50,000 notes. The most effective and responsible approach for 2025 and beyond is a strategy founded on diligence and caution. This involves remaining comprehensively informed solely through official sources, ensuring that all physical notes are stored securely and safely, strictly avoiding any risky or questionable resale or exchange deals, meticulously following all official financial announcements from the CBI, and treating this specific holding as a long-term, highly speculative investment. It is an immutable financial rule that you should never, under any circumstances, risk or invest more capital than you are fully prepared and financially able to lose without hardship. Adopting this disciplined and realistic approach ensures you remain safe, calm, and fully prepared for any verifiable future changes, whether they are gradual or more substantial in nature. Informed patience is the investor's greatest asset. One additional highly positive structural factor that merits serious consideration is Iraq's dynamic demographic profile, specifically its substantial population growth and its proportionally young and rapidly expanding workforce. A growing, youthful population acts as a potent catalyst for expanding domestic economic activity, stimulating innovation, and driving future national production growth. An increase in national productivity directly translates into a stronger national gross domestic product, GDP. A stronger, growing GDP is the fundamental engine that underpins and enables a stronger, appreciating national currency. Iraq possesses the verifiable raw potential to transform into a major economic force within the wider regional landscape contingent upon its continued and responsible management of this ongoing progress and reform agenda. This demographic dividend is a powerful, long-term argument for potential appreciation. Here is a simple, powerful, and necessary truth for all investors. The real, sustainable value of your Dinar holding is emphatically not determined by online rumors, highly speculative YouTube predictions, or unverified chatroom discussions. Its value is determined exclusively and entirely by Iraq's sustained national economic performance and the integrity of its financial reforms. Iraq is finally dedicating substantial and focused energy to building a healthy, diversified, and transparent economy, one carefully planned structural step at a time. This is the only environment and the only process where a currency can acquire true, durable value, in the real-world strength and verifiable health of its national financial system. The 50,000 note remains today a fully legitimate, widely used, and integral component of the nation's currency system. Its future potential and ultimate value will be determined entirely by the verifiable success of Iraq as it continues to grow, modernize, and secure its rightful and stable place in the global economic arena. Let us also briefly address the critical element of investor psychology. It is entirely natural and common for many long-term investors to feel a sense of discouragement or frustration when anticipated changes and progress take significantly longer to materialize than initial expectations suggested. However, genuine, structural economic progress is responsibly measured not in the volatile span of days or weeks, but over the long, deliberate timeline of years and decades. A national currency that experiences an overly rapid appreciation without the corresponding foundational support of real, verified economic output and structural health is highly vulnerable to a catastrophic collapse. Conversely, a currency that methodically and slowly builds its strength through genuine, organic, and verifiable growth is establishing a durable and sustainable foundation. Therefore, patience in this particular speculative holding is not a sign of weakness. It is a profound and intelligent long-term investment strategy. Those investors who remain smart, persistently informed, and patiently disciplined are overwhelmingly the ones best positioned to benefit when this gradual, verifiable progress eventually transforms into undeniable reality. In moving toward the conclusion of this detailed update, we aim to leave you with one final, strategically smart perspective. While the highly dramatic scenario of a massive overnight currency revaluation remains highly improbable and is unsupported by any official data, the realistic and achievable scenario of a strong, gradually appreciating dinar is absolutely possible and is backed by verifiable economic action. Iraq's clearly articulated path forward is systematically grounded in structural reform, comprehensive financial modernization, and a determined global reintegration. These are the undeniable, verifiable key signs of a future that holds real potential to reward those disciplined individuals who recognized and acted upon its long-term potential early on. If any significant, structural change is indeed forthcoming, it will exclusively arrive through official, transparent announcements and clear public communication issued by the Central Bank of Iraq, not through hidden rumors, secret meetings, or unverified chatroom confirmations. The power of verified information must be your primary shield. So, what are the precise and responsible actions that you should undertake right now, today? The advice is clear and consistent. Hold your existing notes securely and safely. Rigorously avoid all forms of panic-driven selling or buying. Stay meticulously updated, tracking only the official verifiable facts and data. Focus your primary attention on tracking Iraq's real, measurable economic indicators, its oil revenues, trade partnerships, and banking reforms, and deliberately disregard the noise of internet speculation. The most successful and strongest investors are those who possess a deep, sober understanding of realistic timing, the profound value of disciplined patience, and the unwavering reality of the current economic situation. The reality today is that Iraq is diligently committing real resources and political will to the painstaking work of building a stronger, more stable nation, and, as a direct result, a potentially stronger, more respected currency. Understanding this reality is the best investment decision you can make today. Before we finally conclude this comprehensive broadcast, let us make one final, unambiguous point perfectly clear to all dinar holders. There is unequivocally no guaranteed profit, no certain outcome, and no financial certainty in this speculative holding. There is inherent high financial risk, but there is also undeniable, measurable potential. A strategically intelligent investor respects and accounts for both of these fundamental realities equally. Therefore, rather than placing blind belief in the notion that immediate wealth is just around the corner due to an unsubstantiated rumor, place your belief and focus on the demonstrable, verified value of following true structural financial developments. These verifiable developments today are consistently and reliably pointing toward genuine foundational progress, not toward pure fantasy, but towards tangible, measurable forward movement on the path to economic normalization. This is the difference between a hopeful speculator and a grounded, informed long-term holder. Thank you immensely for watching today's detailed and comprehensive update on the Iraqi dinar. If this analysis has helped you to finally achieve a clear, factual understanding of what is verifiably real and what remains pure speculation, please consider supporting this work by hitting the like button, subscribing to Dinar Shift, and turning on your notification alerts so you never miss a critical update. This channel, Dinar Shift, is exclusively committed to providing verified, responsible, and absolutely clear Iraqi dinar news and economic analysis every single week. You deserve the unvarnished truth, and that is precisely what you will consistently find here. Stay hopeful, remain rigorously informed, and always remember this timeless truth: the smartest and safest investment you can ever make is the investment in your own knowledge and verifiable information. I will see you in the next crucial update.